Good morning, boys and girls. Happy hump day. It's Wednesday. So, on Monday, we took page 1 of our pumpkin carving how-to book and we labeled it, right? We labeled the pumpkin and the insides. We also added a sentence. We used our word wall to write 2 words. First, I, and then the third word I said was clean, because the first thing I did with the pumpkin is clean it. We sounded out the word clean, heard that first sound, and put a C for that first sound. Since we didn't know the other sounds, we just put a straight line to show that we know there's other sounds there. We hear that there's other sounds there. We just don't know the letters that make those sounds. And is that okay? Yeah, you can put a line there just like I did. And I also talked to you on Monday about adding a period, an ending punctuation. Yes, we end our sentences with punctuation. Most of the time, we will be using a period because we're telling someone something. We're making comments, so we use a period at the end. Today, we are going to move on to page 2. Are you ready? Yeah? So make sure you have page 2 ready to go. Your page 2 should have a picture on it and the number 2 on top, right? In the little box. You got it? Make sure you have that and a pencil. And you should also have your personal word wall because we will be using that in order to write our sentence on our second page. Let's get started. This is page 2. So in page 1, first, I clean the pumpkin. For our next step, step 2, do you remember what I did? Yeah, I stenciled in the design I wanted on my pumpkin. And I chose the Deathly Hallows. So, stenciled. What do I need to label in my picture to make sure my reader knows what is going on in my second step? Well, I'm carving a pumpkin, right? So it's important that they know that this is a pumpkin and not some random orange weird thing, right? So we're going to label pumpkin. Let's send out pumpkin and look for that first sound. Ready? P, p, pumpkin. P. What letter makes p, p, p? P, like parrot or princess. P. The other thing we should label is that middle. What is this? Do you remember what I did? It's a stencil, right? So I'm going to write stencil. Let's look for that first sound. Stencil. Stencil. What letter makes S? S. So I'm going to start it right here and put stencil. There's my S. It kind of looks like I'm labeling the pumpkin again, though. I don't want people to think that I labeled the pumpkin 2 different words. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an arrow from S all the way to my stencil, so that my readers know that this label is for the middle stencil, not for the pumpkin. Next, I'm going to write my sentence. So I labeled my picture. Now I'm going to write my sentence. I already wrote first. There are 2 different words I can use. This isn't my last step, but there's 2 other words in my word wall that I could use. I could use next, which is the word we've been using for our second step, or I can use the word then. So for our middle steps, we can use either of these words. Since I've been saying next for my second step, I'm going to go ahead and put next. Maybe next time I'll put then. But today, page 2 is going to say next. So I've chosen my word. I've got to copy this word onto my paper. So make sure you're writing next on your paper. N-E-X-T. Next. And what did I do next? I stenciled. I. How do we spell the word I? Yeah, I. An uppercase I. When we are spelling the word I, we use an uppercase I. Next, I, finger space, stencil. Stencil. We already found the first sound in stencil. It's right here. So I can start with an S. Stencil. What should I do if I cannot hear the rest of the sounds? Or if I don't know the letters for the rest of the sounds? Do you remember? I did it on this page. And I didn't hear the rest of the sounds in the word clean, or I didn't know the letters those sounds made, I put this. Yeah, a straight line. I can do the same here. If I cannot hear any of the other sounds, or if I don't know the letters that make those sounds, I can just draw a line. Today I'm going to try and sound the whole word out. Stencil. St. And oh. Ooh, that's a lot of sounds. St. Ooh, I know what that is. That's T. St. And so. Sten. Sten. Oh. All right. These are the sounds I hear. So those are the letters I put. Your word stencil does not have to look like mine. Next, I should look exactly like mine because those words are in your word wall. First, the word stencil, I want you to try and hear the sounds and put letters down for the sounds. So next, I stencil. Do you remember what I said comes at the end? A period. And a period looks like this, like a dot on the line at the end of our sentence. So next, I stencil. Good job, awesome authors. So we have our step one, right? First, I clean. Next, I stencil. And tomorrow, what page do you think we're going to work on tomorrow? Yeah, we're going to work on page 3, our third step. If you didn't complete your page 2 with me while I was doing it, I want you to complete it. I want you to label the picture and write the sentence. Like I said earlier, I want you to have next, I. Those words are in your personal word wall. So those 2 words should be spelled correctly and should be in your sentence. Stencil. I want you to try your best to hear the sounds and put down a letter for those sounds. If you can only hear the first sound, that's okay. Write a letter for the first sound, and then you can draw a line. I just want you to try your best. Once you're done completing page 2, I want you to click the link for Seesaw, take a picture of your page 2, and post it for me. All right, thank you for your hard work. I will see you tomorrow.